Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I'm gonna go ahead and just get this thing started. I'm not gonna wait for anyone to come in. Here we have references of what I am going to attempt to do. It has always been a tricky um, pattern for me, mainly because of how realistic I want my Lord to look to match these. There are people who I know who will do a water decal where they will literally take the image and put it on the Lord clear, glue it down, and then just spray like black over the top and then white at the bottom to get as close as possible to that realistic look. I myself am going to try to paint it. And if these two come out correctly, I'll do the rest of the 10 how I want them. This is the reference I'm going to follow. So when you see me looking off to the side, that would be the reason why. So I painted the lure with a base coat of white, and then I clear coated it with spaz stick. It's for like mirror chrome, but I use it to avoid the lure from actually scratching inside of this thing here. So we're gonna just stick two in here for now. I just want to see how these patterns actually come out. I'm gonna spray just for an hour just to test out and see how this pattern actually works. And if it looks good, I am gonna go ahead and bang out the other 8. But this is a test, so hopefully things go as planned. Appreciate it. Flying horse, how are you? Alright, we're gonna lock these in here. If did correctly, this metal mesh will not scratch up my 2 lures that are in here. And now that I got a few of you guys watching, I will explain just slightly to what I am doing. Once again, I am attempting to paint a thin fin shad color. This is the scheme, or these are the references that I am going to follow, and see if I can get this to work. Like I said earlier, I could cheat and make what they call a water decal, where you can literally glue like a clear copy of the image on here and then just spray the top black and then the bottom white. But I want to see if I can pull it off with just the airbrush. So that's the scheme, or that's the plan. So the very first thing I'm going to do, now that I got my white down, my base coat, and my clear coat to keep it from getting scratched up, I am going to go with some chrome. going to try a little bit of this here bluish purple. Some light blues. Oh, if you see me looking off to the side, it's just that me looking at the reference picture. All right, but we're going to start with this chrome. Let's get this show on the road. To get this chrome to really look like scales on here, I have to make sure that the mesh is really tight or close to the body of the lure, and then also turn down my PSI just so it does not bleed. Just got to make sure everything's correct. All right, I'm gonna air dry this real quick. All right. Let's hope this worked out as planned. Okay, it did. It looks better on the flatter surface of the lure, so you can see it. I'll show you guys. That's the scale pattern that I am trying to get and follow. So the next color going to be on this bottle. It says turquoise violet, but I'm going to mix that around down at the bottom. Some light blues, just different colors to give it that rainbowish looking look that shad tend to have. And I'm going to turn up my PSIs back. To about 40. Doesn't look like anything as of yet. Honestly, what it looks like is just some white spots on there. Alright, I'm gonna hit it again. Now I'm starting to actually see the color. Since I could see the color, I am going to use some of the other ones as well. So I hit the whole body with that. So far, I don't know if you guys can see that color too well. I can see it, but I want it to be like, I want it to really stand out. So I want to finish off the paint that I got in here. And I'm going to do some little bit of blue and a little bit of purple, just a little, with my scale pattern here. Just a little, but I'm going to heat set this real quick. I don't want to keep hitting it with the heat because it'll eventually start to bubble. All right. So I'm going to start with the purple first just to see how it looks. Like I said, this is a test. Hopefully it comes out where it looks like a rainbowish look. I'm going to also use a little bit of pink in there as well. Can y'all see that? Oh yeah, I can see it. I can see it. That little bit of purple is gonna make a big difference when I am completely done. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Can't see it too well in the light. Well, when I put it up to the camera, because y'all kind of in the my old box, so the light is kind of out here where I'm at. So kind of hard to see once I put it close to the camera. But you can see the little bit of purple in there, which that is good. All right. Next color is going to be a little bit of pink. This pink is actually blended with just a little bit of like dust blue in it. And that was way too much that came out the bottle just now. Okay. Nope. I don't know if I heat set it that next step, that step after I just sprayed, but that pink showed up and the scale pattern is showing through. I don't know if you guys can see that. I can see it. The darker pink versus that purplish look. So it's slowly starting to build that rainbow effect that I am aiming for. All right. All right, I'm gonna spray the rest of this out of here because too much actually came out. Okay. The next color I'm gonna mess around with is this blue with a purple tint added to it. I don't know if you guys can see that. I can kind of see it when I turn it, but on the actual lure itself, you should be able to see it. I'm mixing it with that pink that was left in the cap already. This is going to be like underneath the pink that I did originally, or the purple. That one's kind of hard to see. No, I think you guys should be able to see it. It's right at the bottom, along the stomach line. but it's slowly starting to get the rainbow effect that I am aiming for. Crazy thing about it is I am like freestyling this, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch the video myself to do the other 8. This one just wants to keep coming off. All right. I'm gonna heat set this, let you all see what we got so far. I don't know if you guys are new or just checking out, coming back or not, but this is the grand scheme of what I am aiming for. All right, so the next step we're gonna do, actually, I'm gonna do some does that got green in it? Is it light violet green? Hold on. Yellow, blue. What I'm getting ready to do is the gill plate. And I'm looking at each one, and of course each one is different. So I am gonna follow the top one. Nah, I'm gonna follow the bottom one. The bottom one looks better. It's a little more detail in it. So this has a little bit of yellow in it to the front. So it fades from blue to yellow or gold. So that's what I am aiming for. It may take a couple of layers to get to the grand scheme that I want. I may cheat and actually use some gold in there. So we'll see how this does first before I actually add the gold in it. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like before I actually heat set the front. So if you look at the front there, you can't really see the scale pattern until I actually heat set it. And it's gonna get loud in here for those jumping in. Alright, so this is what I mean. Now that it's dry, see if I can show you, because I can see it here. Hopefully you guys can see it. In the front, if you can see the scale pattern still, which I'm going to get rid of, that's scales on the gill plate. You don't really see scales on an actual gill plate per se. Alright, so I am going to do some gold above the head, or a little behind the eye and on top of the head. Alright, this is really light, so I'm going to turn the PSIs down to about 15 so it don't blow all over the place. So that's what it looked like it was trying to do. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but yeah, you should be able to see that. There's the gold on the front of the head. You have gold flakes like that where you overspray it. What you want to do to actually cheat is get the lure hot. So I'm going to do it over here. Alright, so now that we got that good and hot, I'm going to hit it with the gold again. Just so it holds in place and not run. Alright, we got that light gold down. I am going to do a yellow line. I don't know if I want to use true yellow or try to keep it where it's more of a realistic golden yellow look. Here's an example of, well, this one's kind of got paint all over it, but this is an example of water decaling. So I took the actual image and printed it on a printer and it's like a clear sticker, and it prints the actual pattern on the sticker. And then I stuck it on here, and I took the epoxy and made sure it was down. Then I sprayed over the top with the black, and then under the bottom with the white, so that you don't see those seam lines where the actual sticker was done. But I want this to look more like it was actually airbrushed on, so we will not be taking that route. I'm thinking this yellow and this gold to create that line down the body. Or, I don't know, darker gold? That might be too dark. Alright, so here's the 3 golds. Which one would you go with? The one on the end, the dark? The light? Or the mid? What's going on, RP? Let me see if I got a lighter yellow. That probably would help. Too light. That's almost green. That's glow in the dark. I don't want that. Oh. I think I'm gonna go with one of these 2 actual yellows and run some gold inside of it. Go with the dark, just so you see what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. Doing the shed pattern. So the dark might be a little standoffish versus the rest of the color scheme. That'll really stand out. I don't think I want it to overshadow the dark blues and stuff that's going to go on the top of the body. All right. I know what that dark gold is going to look like too, and I don't have it here, so light yellow with gold. I might go with that dark gold now that I think about it, mainly because this yellow here is pretty bold. So you might be right. Plus I'm testing, so we're going to test it out and see what it looks like. Doesn't look good. I know not to do it on the next 8. Because this is not an Awada airbrush. The Awada airbrushes come with a cup on the front that you can stick your finger over and press down and mix inside the cap. But this needle's like exposed and will prick you, so cannot do any mixing with any of the badgers. So the trick that I do is I will take a Q-tip and put it on the front, and actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that down. Oh no, it is turned down. Okay, good. I'm going to turn it down so that it mixes in the cup. Hopefully you guys can see the mixing happen. It should bubble up. I don't know if you guys can see that actually. Yeah, there it goes. You see it coming to the top? It has been mixed in the cup. That's what I want. Just to make sure that it's a good mix. All right, that is spraying out a lot. I don't want it. All right, we're gonna create that lateral line. Here's that yellow lateral line. You can see it. The dark gold was a good call. It does look good. Now I just got to pull that off on this floor and on the other side. There's your yellow lateral line. Heat set it. All right. What's going on, Logan? There is your yellow lateral line. So now the next step is to clean the brush out so that I can do a blue over the top. From the looks of it, this one up top here is like a dark blue. This one here is a metallic or like a rainbowish blue. And then this bottom one is a dark blue. So, 2 out of 3. We're going with the dark blue. Where is my dark blue? Alright, we're going to go with this dark blue, but what I'm going to do is create a scale pattern of dark blue over that yellow, right over the top of it. So I'm going to use a fine brush to ensure that I don't go completely over the yellow. I still want the yellow to show. So I'm using the Sotar 2020F model for a really fine line. right above the yellow. Starting to get that one was starting to clog in the mesh, so I want that blue to really yeah, man. We could set it up on Instagram. So I'm content with that blue running along the yellow. That's creating the scale pattern look. But when I'm done, I'm going to go back again right along the top with a darker blue, like a blue black, to create that top look. Yeah, I wish I had time to do resins, to make resin lures. I just don't have the time. It's either resin lures or custom rods, one of the two. Or I could just take my time realistically and just do them at my own speed. That'll never come out. Alright, so you guys can see that there is the blue kind of mixing into the yellow. That's good, man. Heck yeah. I always put it off, and then I have events coming up that make me like, all right, it's time to get serious. All right, so I'm going to save this blue in this cap on purpose, and I'm going to do a little bit of a darker brown right above the eye socket area. So like right in there, I'm gonna do a little bit of brown, and I'll show you what area I'm talking about. In between the dot and the eye, I'm gonna do some brown in there. And the brown that I'm using, I actually mixed a little gold in it, just to give it a pearlized look. I think I'm done with yellow, so I'm going to clean this brush out and just put the brown in here. 4 drips to test out, just to see. I don't trust this brown. It's coming out kind of like a lot, even with it turned down. All right. For starters, a good paint is this one. You don't have to do any mixing or anything. It's called FW. That's the big bottle. You don't have to get it that big. The small bottle looks like this. Lobby Hobby, $1.49. If they got it. All right, so let's add some browns to this thing's face. What I'm doing now is just dabbing, because I don't want it to come out way too much. Which that's what it's trying to do. So that brown over the gold is, yeah, if you don't clear coat it, most definitely. Once you're done, you're gonna want to dip it or UV. Maybe I'll do a video on that, or you could just look up UV clear coating. That's the easiest method to epoxying your lures. It's a little more expensive than the KBS dip model, but I recommend that to anybody who's starting out. KBS is good, but sometimes it bubbles around the eye. This thing is really trying its hardest to overspray on me. All right, so here we go. I appreciate the subscribe, man. As for the resin, there's a couple of people you may want to look up. Yeah, I can't think of his name, and I see it. Sonar Bates. He does a really in-depth video on resin and micro balloons and the epoxies and all of that stuff. I've been watching him easily over 10 years, and I've still have yet to make a resin bait myself. So I just take other people's baits and repaint them, or buy the blanks. All right, so we're gonna it's trying to stick on me. All right. I'm gonna do the dark blue over the top. And what I mean by dark blue, I'm just gonna take that blue and go right above my scale pattern line of the blue. Okay, okay. All right, so we got the dark blue on the top. The scale pattern's running into the yellow. You got your yellow line. I am now going to go with the jet black. Actually, I'm lying. What I'm going to do first is white dot. Some people do this step, some people don't. I prefer to do it, and because I am going to be freehanding this white dot, I have to make sure that this brush is cleaned out well, so no blue is left inside of it. Where the heck is my, okay. So what I just did with that dark blue on the front of the head or behind the eye is I ran it over top of the brown to give it that dark look above the head, behind the eye. That's supposed to, it's going to run down just slightly behind the eye, just a little bit more from the picture that I'm looking at. Each of the pictures are slightly different. This is the boring part, cleaning out the brush. But when you're going from a super dark color to a super light, definitely want to make sure that that brush is cleaned out, or you are going to be starting over. And then, especially if you're paying for a customer, you don't want it to be messed up. I myself, I like the imperfections. I think actually the fish kind of like it as well when they see the lure like beat up. That's just me mentally. Like the fish will attack it more when it's not perfect. All right. Got that blue out of there. We're gonna do the white dot. What I recommend if you want to stay in your budget, go on Facebook Marketplace and type in air compressors, and you can find them on there between $30 and $40. And before you buy it, just tell a person, hey, can you plug this in? I just want to make sure it works. Most people will. If they get fishy and be like, yeah, why you want to worry about all that? Don't buy it, because that's when you know it's messed up. Or if you want to really stay in your budget, I think you can go on Amazon. There is a complete kit with paints. Not that great of an airbrush, the compressor, and a couple of other things like cleaning kit and all that. I want to say it's like $120, between $80 to $120. You'll get a brush like this. This isn't nothing spectacular. I use it to do my clear coat and my silvers and stuff. That's the brush I use. I'm going to be hard on the when I'm painting a lot of lures at once. All right, that's coming out a lot. I don't want it to come out like that. What I'm doing now is I'm just adjusting my PSI so it don't overspray and I get mad and this white dot doesn't come out how I want it. Alright, so we're going to put this white dot slightly behind that dark area. So about right in there. Kind of like right where I stopped my yellow line at. Just slowly building it up so that this thing right here, man, I'll show you real quick before I put it back on it. There's the white dot, if you can see it. I might make it just a little bigger. But if you look at some lures come with the white dot and some lures don't. I just like doing it. Believe it or not, I am close to done, and I kind of went over time. Here's the crazy part. I didn't I'll show you, and I can't believe it happened. So if you look at the top of this lure, can you see the top of that lure? Can you see the white dot on each side? How symmetrical that is? And I did it without looking. I would usually check to make sure that the dots are in the same spot, but if you look closely, the dots on the one at the bottom or the one that's in the front is dead on. The one at the back, I can't say that it's completely dead on, but it is very close. All right, so one of the final steps before I just go in and start kind of doing my own thing is the black dot, and then oddly you can't really see the fin on any of these. Yeah, I usually, if I'm not recording, I would have really made sure that they were symmetrical. And the one way I would do it is to take a piece of fishing line and go around the lure and make sure that that line comes to like a touch point, and then I would tie it and then just hold it in place and follow to make sure that those two white dots match. But that's a little bit of a process, and I don't want you guys to be bored out of your mind seeing me tie a piece of fish line around the lure, create the symmetrical spot. That is one way I would do it. Fishing line tied around the lure to ensure I found my spot. Alright, so now that I'm going from like super white to black, definitely want to make sure that there is no white in this cap because it will turn into a gray. I don't want that. Last year, this was my most requested paint. And I'm like, oh man, another shad. The sexy shad, that's what they call it. I'm like, another one? No, no more. Um, I seen a guy when he came to doing vertical lines. Um, what I would do, me myself, on the front of my table is, I'll show you. It's a mess, but it's my test spot. What I do is I go back and forth real slow until I am confident in the line that I want. That's what I was doing earlier. This white is really in there. My bad. That white just really is like, all right. I think we're good. I hope we're good. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you the front end of my table for the vertical line. I don't know if you can see that there. Yeah, so that's a mess. So I will literally practice before I do my line. I would practice right in front of the table just to get my lines, man. Go from there. The dots on the fence. I don't put any dots on the fence. Oh, I have a thing that I bought. Now that you mention it, for when I do my crappy fins, it is. I'll show you real quick, and then we're gonna get to that black dot. Stay on task. It's a company from another country. I bought it years ago. It takes about a month to get. And here's one of them. You see that? anarchymodels.co.uk. Those are really ultra fine dots. Okay, yeah, now you can see it. What's going on, Derek? We're getting ready to wrap this show up, man. I'm coming to an end for the night. All right, so the next step is that black. That's black, but I just want to make sure I thought I filled this up. Maybe not. Okay. All right, whatever. Next step is the black dot. And those white dots that I just showed you, Hey, the way I see it, your reinforcements. You're never late. Reinforcements are never late unless it's completely over. Then you're in trouble. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is create this black dot, and it is watered down. I do not want that to happen. That's because that daggone white did not clean out of there completely. Alright, so I'm going to flush this real quick one more time. Never mind. I found my black that I'm looking for. Appreciate the sub, man. I don't need nothing but a little drip of this stuff. It's not coming out as dark as I want it to. Hold on. There we go. All right. Let me turn that down just a little more. I'm going to turn it down to about 10. And I'm saying these numbers mainly for myself because I'm going to rewatch this video and do the other 8. All right, here we go. You know what? I don't trust myself with this black dot right now. So what I'm gonna do is look for my circle maker. There we go. And cheat. There it is. It came out pretty nice. The thing about it is, for me, if I was doing this for myself, I would be content with not using the circle maker and making the dot look a little more realistic, where it's kind of like fuzzy versus that perfect circle. Got you, man. I just seen your message on Instagram. This thing right here, I'm gonna have to find a new alligator clamp because this one is done. All right. They look pretty good, man. I'm not gonna lie to be just kind of freestyling this thing, just looking at the picture and not actually having a grand scheme of how I want it to come out. It, it is working in my favor. Appreciate it, man. So there they are. The last thing that I want to do, but I'm kind of scared to do, is go with the black directly over the top. I don't have a picture of a shed anywhere to see that over the top view. I don't know. It looks like it's black. I just don't. Should I go with the black, people, or no? See, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Go with the black. All right, I'm a. Too late. I'm going with the black. She said not to. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the black on just the one. Well, for one, it's not coming out correctly. I think it might be. I like that black, man. I like the black fading down into that blue and then that scale pattern running into the yellow. I think I'm gonna go with the black. Good call. Good call. I'm gonna go with the black. Yeah. Heck yeah, that looks amazing. Of course. Now, I'm actually gonna wrap this up, guys. I went over by 26 minutes, but I have 8 more of these bad boys that I gotta do. They will be on the website if they do not sell out at the event. Yeah. Oh, I'm done for the night. I'm about to be out of here. I know what I am gonna do before I finish this. I am gonna put a very fainted yellow fin on there. So I'm looking at all 3, and it has like a pinkish spot, and then the pink fades into like a yellow. Alright guys, I am going to call it a night. Appreciate you all for watching. If you subscribed, I also appreciate it. You can share. I'm glad you guys comment. You stuck around. On the website, it will be called It Must Be the Bait. Until next time, peace out. Oh, come on, Pink. Don't play with me. Pink's not fading out, guys.